super simple off-grid internet solution. If you've been curious how our internet works, well, we're going to take it all apart today and we are going to fix it up to make it even better. Let's get the internet out of the tree. All right, so you see this yellow rope right here? This goes up to our internet. It's way up in the top of that tree. All right, Jules, start letting her down there. Okay, so we've got it in like a Tupperware box up here, and we have power running up to it. I'll show you exactly what it is. Well, let's see, after we get it down here. But we have this rope that goes all the way over the top of the tree, so we can pull it down and pull it back up from either side of the tree. Jules is on the other side, letting it down come kind of slow, because if you let it go too fast, it gets caught up in the tree branches and makes a big mess. There we go. All right, perfect, dude. So this right here, guys, is our internet box. Super fancy, right? Let me show you how it works. If you've been watching our channel a while, you know that we used to have our generator shed right here, right about where that fire pit is, but we moved it to the other side of the property. And when we did that, we lost power for our internet. So we had to kind of come up with an improvised plan, which is this. Inside this tote here, we keep a solar generator, right? Solar generator right here, bam, powering it off of the inverter, right? 110 volts. Then, right, this wire right here goes up, follows the rope, round and around it goes, all the way up to the top of the tree where we plug in our internet. This is the heart of the internet right here. We keep it taped up because, of course, it's up there year-round. Rain, snow, sleet, wind, everything. So we just put tape on it. And you can tell, man, this thing's been taped many times. As we bring it down to run different experiments and stuff with it, you got to open it up and then tape it back up again. So here we go, right? This is what we're using right here. This is just a AT&T. It's a LTE modem, right? It does Wi-Fi, LTE, 4G. And so if you look at the back here, right, you've got a couple phone ports. You can actually hook up like a landline almost to this. It's not it's not really a landline, but it works like a landline. Like you can plug a regular phone into this, and then when somebody calls you, they call over the cell tower, comes into here, and then from a wire to a regular phone. Like if you wanted to use an old push button phone, like, you know, from the 80s or something, you could use that with this. All right, but that's not what we're really here to talk about. Then we've got the Ethernet port, so you can run Ethernet from here right to your computer, or right to smart TV, or right to another router, which we might do in the future, to go actually inside of the house. Because from this guy right here, this is broadcasting the Wi-Fi from the top of that tree, which goes over into the cabin. But since we finished the roof on the cabin, the Wi-Fi signal went down quite a bit. So we're gonna have to, we'll work with that too in the future. Right now though, we're worried about power in this thing. So this is how the power works. Right now we've got 110 coming from that little solar generator, right, from the inverter in there. And then we're going to a converter that converts it down to 9 volts DC. So we're going from 12 volts from the solar panel into the solar generator, which is then converting it to 120 volts AC from 12 volts DC, and then we're converting it back down to 9 volts DC, right? So there's a lot of waste in there. We're running the inverter. This thing is like 5 watts, right? So we're running a full inverter just to run a 5-watt system. What I want to do is convert this down to a 12 volt to 9 volt system with this bad boy right here. This guy right here, 12 volts to 9 volts DC. And then we don't have to turn the inverter on. We just run it right off the 12 volts. And I think we're going to be a lot more efficient, especially on cloudy days. And our location right here is not that great. We only get like an hour or 2 of sunlight actually on the solar panels right here. So this, I think, is going to be a really good efficiency boosting tool right here. We'll find out though. Like always, guys, there are resources for you down in the description of the video. So go ahead, check that out. There's resources for this project, but also for other projects that we have going on here on the homestead, as well as prepping and things like that. All right, down in the description, you'll find those resources. All right, so the first thing we want to do here then, we just want to make sure what our voltage is coming out of that converter, just to make sure everything's right. Okay, so let's see here. We want to unplug this guy from here. We're going to stick, I think it's probably positive on the inside and negative on the outside. Yep, 9.22 volts DC right there. So positives on the inside, negatives on the outside. You guys remember that, okay, in case I forget. We'll go ahead and cut this now. We'll just leave it a little long because it won't hurt. We're unplugged. Yep, we're unplugged. All right. Okay, so we got that off of there. Now let's just go ahead and confirm our positive and negative here. I'm thinking negative is the striped one, but we'll see. All right, let's go ahead and plug it back in. And let's go ahead and check it here. Going right there, right here. That's exactly right. Okay, so here we go. 9.21 volts. This is the negative, and the solid wire is the positive. But I wonder what would happen if we flip this around, because this is not polarized. It could go either way. Let's try it this way, just to see. Because who knows? Curious minds, man. They want to know. Would that make a difference? It makes no difference. 9.23 volts. White is negative, black is positive. Got it. All right, so let's go ahead and get this guy apart here. And we're going to make gold positive and silver negative, right? Which you'd find in the plug here, right? Gold's going to be your hot wire, and silver is going to be your neutral wire. So we'll just follow that same pattern as we connect it up to, well, we need to connect it to this guy here. I'm going to put this closest to here because the lower the voltage, the more voltage drop you're going to have over a distance. So I want to run full power up to here, which would be 12 volts, and then drop it down at the end close to the inverter, or close to the router. So right there you can see what we've got. Got 9 volts, 2 amps. Red is positive, which is going to go to our black one right here. We're just going to use wire nuts for this because this is all still temporary. The goal is, once we get the garage built, we'll put a tower on the garage and then get some of those big like Yagi antennas and hopefully really boost our signal. But we're waiting until we get the garage built, which will be later this summer sometime. And then run those antennas down to here, because look right here. These are the external antenna ports. So you got 2 of them right here. And so then we could run an external antenna to this, off of that tower, put this actually inside of the house instead of up in a tree, and then have a lot better internet. All right, so we've got this guy here wired up. Now we're ready to go. This guy is gonna go to here, which red is positive and black is negative. So we'll go ahead and put red to copper color. Ooh, we should unplug that, huh? Yeah, there we go. All right, so we don't need that anymore. We got this guy all wired up. Got that guy. Now, we've got a 12 volt side that we need to do here. So, what are we gonna need to do about that? Well, let's just double check here. We'll go ahead and turn our DC on. We'll turn our AC off. That'll shut off the inverter. So now we're not converting anything. or inverting anything. We're just going to use this wire right here. This I just had laying around. I think it went to an old CB I had. You guys remember CBs? Anyway, plug that guy into there. Okay, let's check and make sure which one's positive, which one's negative. But this black should be negative. And red over here should be positive. Let's see. 12.78 volts. Perfect. 12.78 volts right there. We'll just go ahead and reverse them. I'll just show you what happens here when you reverse them. Bam, you get a negative 12.78 volts. Here, check it out. There you go. Negative 12.78. That's how you know which one's positive and negative if you're not sure and you're testing something. If it says negative 12 point something volts, then you have it reversed, right? So just switch your leads around. Red is positive, black is negative. Check it again. And if it doesn't say that it's negative, it's just 12 point something volts or 13 point something volts, then you know which one's positive and which one's negative for sure. So now we know that. Go ahead and unplug this. All right, so we got this all wired up. I think I did it off camera on accident, but anyway, we connected it up here, red to the copper and black to the silver. That way it's the right polarity. Now we're going to go ahead and plug this guy in here. We have our DC on, and we should be making positive in the middle, negative on the outside, and 9.14. Right, 9.14. Perfect, man. We are ready to power this beast off of DC only. It's good. We'll go ahead and tape this up real quick. All right, there we go. Bam, that's done. So now we can plug this guy in here, and now we've got power, man. Bam. I wonder if it'll work if we take the battery out. I forget. Oh yeah. All right, so see here, we're still going, even though we've taken the battery out. Therefore, what's that tell us? It tells us that the power is working, right? We unplug it, it's gone, it's dead. All right, here we go. All right, so what's the battery for then? The battery is basically a backup. This is intended for in-home use. You could use it in an RV as well. We use it up in a tree, right? Oh yeah, let me show you the SIM card. So the SIM card goes right inside of there. And then I just have a little piece of foam that helps push it down, because I noticed that in the winter time, when it was like 20 degrees or below, this would shut down and it would lose connection with the SIM card. So I put a piece of foam in there just to push down on it. Normally you wouldn't have to do that, and I shouldn't be doing that because you're not supposed to run this thing in that cold of a temperature. But after we insulated it, we wrapped it in insulation and then put it back up in the tree last winter. It was fine. So the rope then goes around the whole thing like this, right? And this part right here is what's used to pull it up the tree. And this one right here is what's used to control it as it goes up the tree like this, right? And then also used to control it as it comes down the tree. And so it's just around the box like this and then tied together right here. So what we're going to do is just tape this back onto the box around here so that it can't slip off of the box. And then we'll be ready to put it all back together. Gonna try using some better tape this time. Not that we really had a problem with it. That tape did last a year up there before it started to decompose. But this is supposed to be some good Gorilla Tape glue, some good Gorilla Tape. Clear Gorilla Tape. I'm sure duct tape would work really good too. I just don't happen to have any right now. So we're gonna use this tape here. It's kind of like super packing tape, but it's rubbery as well. It's like a rubbery, clear packing tape. All right, so we got that rope on there. Let's go ahead and put this guy back together. We'll put our little piece of styrofoam in there, put the battery back in, close it up, bam. All right, so it goes in here like this. It could go either way, but we're gonna put it this way. There we go. Okay, then we're just using cheap clear packing tape to seal around it, because it gets cut open a lot. And it's already pretty well sealed. We're just trying to keep the rain out of it. This way, I don't feel bad about, you know, cutting it open and all of that all the time. Whenever I want to, I don't have to worry about wasting good tape. All right, see, so now that top seal right here, right, it's all the way over. It's all the way sealed around it. It should be fine. Let me go see if I can get Jules to help us put it up in the tree. You know, it's kind of cool. Sometimes, like when you're driving up, you can see these little green lights way up in the tree. It's kind of like there's a UFO up there. I think it's kind of cool anyway. All right, so Jules is gonna pull us up. Are you ready? All right, here we go. And then, here we go, man. It's going up in the tree. Way up there. And so we want to kind of keep it at an angle like this so that it doesn't get caught in those other trees up there or get caught in the lower branches. This way it goes right up to the top. See how it's going to hit that branch, but that should, yeah. Here we go, we're going up. We're almost there. 15 to 20 more feet. A little bit more. Yep. Okay. So this is what we got right here. 12 volts coming out of here, going into here, all the way up that rope, all the way to the router, way up in the tree. Up in the box that the router's in, it's being converted down to 9 volts DC. And so right now, we're using 5 watts of power. Let's go ahead and do the speed test now that it's up in the tree. 15.5 for the download speed. And the upload speed is really slow. As a YouTubers, you know that the upload speed is really important because that's how we upload our videos. A lot of times we just use our phones. Sometimes we use that internet, and it's kind of a pain. So the next step in trying to improve our internet, besides just putting the whole router up in the tree, is to get a couple of Yagi antennas that we can connect to it and point right at the tower. It's only like 1.5 miles away, but it's 1.5 miles away through like the densest forest in the world. You want to know more about what's going on here on our homestead, guys? There is a video right over here that you can go ahead and check out. Otherwise, I hope you have a really great day. Keep smiling, and I will see you over in that video in just a second.